Hi, I'm Laura from Pilates Process, and I'm here to show you a few tips about how you might be able to manage neck strain. I find it one of the more challenging things when you don't get to work with someone one-on-one, but these are a few things that have certainly helped many clients and me in the past. So one of the first things, if you just get a small rolled towel, what this does is you're going to place it under the neck, okay? Just your neck should have a natural little arc curve to it, just like the neutral curve of the low back. And very often when there's neck strain, we have a habit of flattening that out, of trying to pull the chin down and flatten out the neck, which can really add to the stress. So having a little rolled towel that's just big enough that you can feel some contact to do any of the warm-up exercises, any of the toe taps, any of the hip release or arm work here, or even just to be able to practice some arm shoulder actions, and just do that and pay attention. Do you have a habit of squishing that towel? Do you have a habit of wanting to kind of brace the ribs up and the chin down? If you do, you're going to use it as a constant reminder to try and let the jaw be straight to the ceiling, let the head be easy. You can still use a head pad if you're used to using a head pad. That's fine. You probably just need a little bit of a thicker towel then to be able to get that proprioception. So I would start the mat classes with a cushion there, and then whenever you're doing something with the head down, that's going to be a reminder to not go into that bracing position. Okay? Something else that might be helpful is to do this before you start a mat class or before you start weights or working out, is just to sense the neck. And you can do this sitting or standing, whatever you're most comfortable in. So the neck should have that little curve to it. And the same thing happens in sitting as when we're lying down, the habitual pulling back and neck bracing. So what we can do is start by sitting and feeling that natural little curve of the neck. So you can just walk your fingers very gently up and down the vertebrae of the neck. And it might start to sense that you can feel a little bit of a slight concavity to it. See if you can sense that, or at least image it. You're not pressing, you're just gently feeling those bony points of the spine. Okay, so that's a curve, that's a healthy curve, that's a neutral curve of the neck. We want to be able to keep that. So see if you're able to find that, imagine that. The head really just sits onto that spine. And see if you get the image that the skull is just balanced on that first vertebra. Okay, the jaw is relaxed, the jaw is parallel to the floor. And we're going to think of a little bit of rotation. So we think of the earlobes, and we're going to imagine that one earlobe is just being drawn forward, one's being drawn back. We're not going to go very far at all. And back to the center. So we're only going as far as we go easily. A little bit of a rotation and a little bit of return. As lazy as possible. So only going in a range that feels like you really don't have to use any muscles to do it, which is small with the neck. And then we go the other side, and we're picturing one earlobe going forward, the other earlobe going equal distance back. The sides might not be even, or often not even. Okay, we're not going at all for a stretch. It's just how easily can we find that rotation with that imagery of the ears drawing around the corner. Stay centered. Okay, we're going to add something else to that. So now we're going to do the rotation again, and we're going to imagine that the neck is spiraling, like it's screwing into itself, downwards as we rotate and upwards as we return. So as we rotate, we're not really going to force anything, it's just imagining that the neck is getting shorter. And then it gets longer in the center. Try the other side. It gets shorter. And it gets longer. And again, it gets shorter. And longer. See if this gets easier as you do it. in which case it's a really good option for you to do before doing mat work. It means it's waking up the stabilizers a little bit, getting the deeper muscles alert and supportive that could help with placement and without taking some strain out of things. And the last tip I can give you about the neck is if you stretch it a lot, if you go to end range and try and stretch out the musculature a lot, try not to. Try avoiding that and seeing if your neck actually is calmer without it. I know when the neck gets really tight, it's tempting to want to pull it to end range. It can often make muscles react with a more protective response. So instead, shoulders and neck feel tight, try not to push to end range. Instead, see if we can do a little bit of movement in very small, supportive mid-range. See if you can try those little neck rotations in very small, easy range, so that we're trying to improve the quality of our inner range, of our small range of motion, seeing if that calms down the muscles. Taking something that's already tight and a little bit angry to end range stretch most likely is going to make it come back even stronger. And then you get in this habit of stretch, feeling the need to stretch because everything's tight, pushing it into end range stretch, and that cycle continues. Try giving it up for a while. It's a bit of a hard habit to break, and seeing if you can go for the less dramatic, smaller, controlled motion of smooth, fluid movement instead. Good luck with that.